Broadside Books and Harper Audio present Progressively Worse: Why Today's Democrats Ain't Your Daddy's Donkeys by Joe Concha, read by John Pruden. To my wife, Jean, and kids, Cameron and Liam, they're the only cheering section I need. When you want to help people, you tell them the truth. When you want to help yourself, you tell them what they want to hear. Thomas Sowell. Introduction. How did the Democratic Party end up so far to the left? Here's one theory. The big announcement came from CNN on August 27, 2019. Headline: CNN announces details for climate crisis town hall. Premise: 10 Democratic presidential hopefuls will appear in New York at back-to-back town halls on Wednesday, September 4th, taking audience questions about their climate plans as scientists sound the alarm about global warming. The event was scheduled to last, check notes, 7 hours. Boy, CNN really has its hand on the pulse of the people, doesn't it? Of all the issues facing the country at that time, and still to this day, this was what the network was going to give 7 hours of consecutive airtime to when it comes to vetting Democratic presidential candidates. But a look at a 2019 Pew Research poll asking what respondents thought was the most important problem facing the country today tells a much different story. Its annual survey that year showed that the economy was a top public priority for voters, as it always is. Healthcare, education, terrorism, and Social Security rounded out the top 5. As for climate change, the issue CNN decided to blot out 420 minutes of its regular programming for, it ranked 17th on the list of voter priorities, behind drug addiction, budget deficit, military, and transportation, among others. Now, let's say you're a Democrat seeking the party nomination at that time. You look around and see that you're running against 26 other candidates, making getting your message platform out extremely difficult, especially if you're not a top-tier candidate in polling. And then, a national news network says it's going to give you an hour alone on stage, along with a Wolf Blitzer or Anderson Cooper or Don Lemon to make your case. Do you take that offer? Of course you do, because that kind of national airtime is scarce, and CNN does or did everything it can or could to appeal to Democrat voters. But there is a catch. Maybe you want to talk about your economic and education proposals or dive into foreign policy. Ha! Are you kidding? CNN says the climate crisis is the only thing you're allowed to talk about. Now let's say you're a relative moderate running for president, like Steve Bullock, the Democratic governor of the red state of Montana. In order to win there statewide in his gubernatorial race, Bullock had to basically pose as a Republican. Donald Trump had won Montana by 20 points in 2016, after all, so no AOC-sounding progressive was going to sniff victory in John Dutton country. That's for certain. Bullock does not support banning fracking, however. Ruh-roh, Shaggy. He also supported expansion of the Keystone XL pipeline. Oh, crap. That did not sit well with the moderators or much of the audience either. After all, these aren't dubbed climate change town halls, but climate crisis town halls. Is this fear-mongering on CNN's part? You bet. And the reason why we know this is because Project Veritas had one of its reporters secretly tape a conversation with CNN technical director Charles Chester. And let's just say it tells us everything you need to know about journalism morphing into activism. Our focus was to get Trump out of office, Chester explained to Veritas. Without saying it, that's what it was, right? So our next thing is going to be for climate change awareness. Do you think it's going to be just like a lot of fear for the climate? The undercover reporter asked. Yeah, fear sells. Who decides that? The head of the network, Chester replied. The head of the network at that.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?